Every morning that you wake up out of your bed, what is that drives your life? The man without a purpose is like a ship without its captain. Everyone's life is driven by something, has to be. And the word driven here implies is to be able to control, to be able to guide, or to be able to direct. But the question about drive is something more essential. Essentially, it means something more internal, acting as a force to propel this beauty thing called life. And right now, you may be driven by a problem or a pressure or a deadline. But on a longer run, you may be driven by fear, a traumatic episode, a painful memory, or an unconscious belief. The most common driving forces are guilt, resentment, anger, need for approval, fear, and materialism. And I had this period of my life in which I was driven by guilt. The guilt was so strong that I was trying to run away from my regrets. Now, how many of us have gone through this? Usually guilt-driven people are haunted by the painful memories of the past. The past has a control over them. We are who we are because of the past, but it doesn't mean that we need to be prisoners of the past. I know many people who are driven by resentment and anger. They hold on to their hurts in their heart and they never get over them. Instead of releasing their pain through forgiveness and compassion, they keep playing those hurts in their minds, and so much of resentment and anger gets built up in their consciousness. And these people are like ticking time bombs or even volcanoes waiting to explode or erupt. And the truth about resentment is it's always going to hurt you more than the person you feel resentment against. They might have hurt you and even forgotten about it, but you keep carrying the burden of the resentment on your shoulders, and that becomes your driving force. Another driving force, which is the biggest, is fear. Because the thought of uncertainty scares us. Our fears can also be a product of traumatic experiences and unrealistic expectations. And regardless of the cause of fear, fear-driven people miss out on great opportunities because they like to stick to their comfort zone. They like playing it safe, avoiding the risks, and trying to maintain status quo. One of the most common driving forces is materialism. It's really a pity some people don't know themselves. So they believe the best way to know themselves is the accumulation of wealth and power. And this drive to always acquire more is based on the misconception that having more will make me happy, having more will make me feel important, and having more will make me feel more secured. The reality is, they do provide a temporary happiness, or let's just say it's a fleeting happiness. Now, how many people do you know or even heard of who are rich and famous but deeply unhappy in life? If having the richness and the power would make you happy, then these people should be happy. But it's clearly not the case. It's also a myth that if I get more, I will have more important self-worth. But the reality is, your net worth doesn't define your self-worth. Your value is not determined by your valuables. Instead, it is determined by the values that you put into the world. Another driving force which is deep rooted in our minds and in our societies is the need for approval. We live up to the expectations of others, especially to our parents, friends, and even spouses. People say, follow the crowd. But those who follow the crowd get lost in it. And we are driven by this peer pressure, always worried about what others might be thinking about us. And I believe they don't even think about us so much because they are busy thinking what others might be thinking about them. It's really a dilemma, it's a paradox. And being controlled by the opinion of others or trying to please everyone is definitely a road to failure. It keeps you dissatisfied, discontent, and leaves you with emptiness. And I think one of the most powerful driving force is love. The love for what you do, the love for others, the love to contribute to the world.